Family, friends, and members of the Buffalo community are remembering the life of Norman Paolini. Hundreds of people gathered at St. Luke's Mission of Mercy this morning to say their final goodbyes. Paolini died just over a week ago. He was one of the co-founders of St. Luke's and touched the lives of so many people in this community. News 4's Luke Moretti sat down with those closest to him.
We were sharing what God would provide.
Norm Paolini had an instinctive ability to comfort people in need.
He would always go to someone that he knew was either in trouble or alone.
Amy Betros first met Norm during a pilgrimage to the Fatima Shrine in Portugal in 1992. They developed an instant connection that would lead them on a spiritual journey and a friendship of nearly 30 years.
I think God, had this plan for these two people to meet.
Amy sold her restaurant. Norm took an early retirement from his job. With help from a generous donor, they purchased St. Luke's Parish on Buffalo's east side from the Catholic Diocese.
It sounded absurd. People thought we were absolutely crazy.
There was no blueprint for this type of work. Instead, they relied on faith, instinct, and a deep desire to comfort, feed, clothe, and care for those in need.
These people who have the need are the reason that we're here.
Amy says there was something about Norm that pushed her.
I followed Norm because of who he followed. And I can tell you that he's the closest person to Jesus I've ever met.
Amy and Norm served their first meal at St. Luke's Mission of Mercy in 1994. As the need grew over the years, so did the mission. Free meals, thousands of holiday dinners, housing, programs for families and troubled teens, or just a warm place to stay on a bitterly cold night.
We'd feed them and we'd talk to them.
Norm Paolini died at the age of 71 after battling cancer and Parkinson's disease. Known to many around the mission as Uncle Norm, his passing has opened the door for reflection on what many called an extraordinary and remarkable life.
He was always encouraging and always listened. He always supported. He was my best friend.
Joe Mombre, a friend for 45 years, says Norm would be drawn to the disenfranchised, the poorest of the poor, and those who no one wanted.
He had such a sense of compassion for people, never judged them, never told them what you're doing is wrong, you have to stop this behavior.
Amen, be it done unto me.
Those who knew him best say Norm lived the gospel. He led by example through words, prayer, and song, and never flinched when his faith was tested. Just ask Norm's wife, Linda.
He heard a call and he felt he had to answer it immediately.
Linda and Norm Paolini began dating as teenagers. Throughout their 49 years of marriage, she supported, nurtured, and encouraged her husband's spiritual calling.
It's all a series of yeses to God's plan. And when you're open to what God has in mind, you're always surprised.
She was especially surprised when he decided to retire early and leave a steady, good-paying job at Roswell Park as a cancer researcher, only to open a mission of mercy on the city's east side. Linda says it was a big step. What about the needs of their own family, she wondered? Provisions to live, quality time together, all fair questions.
That was a huge unknown. I wasn't that secure in it at the time.
Joe Mombre recalls the time Norm approached him about the idea.
What do you think? And I said, don't ask me, ask Linda, your wife, I mean, I don't even want to be responsible for giving an opinion on that.
Linda said yes, and over time she grew to accept and eventually love the mission's work.
I wasn't a happy camper in the beginning of it all, but God saw me through. He changed my heart, like he changed many hearts over there, saved many lives, and it's something to be thankful for.
If it wasn't for his wife, there would be no St. Luke's Mission as we know it. And she was always the unsung hero in this story.
A story of compassion and goodwill, a man with a calling who never looked back, and the many lives he touched along the way.
He always went to the ones who felt unlovable, felt alone, you know, felt that no one in the world cared about him. Norm would be sure to make that person the most special.
I knew I was his number one as far as people in this world. I knew I was always, but I had to share him. It wasn't easy, but it was a beautiful thing, beautiful thing.
Linda says at one point she was asked to teach at the mission school, and that's when she felt the calling. It was then she became more committed, more involved, on board in a new way. And she says that made Norm very happy. Luke Moretti, News 4.